After a turbulent stretch of baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies look to be back on the right track, taking 3 of 4 against the Atlanta Braves, looking to have wrapped up the NL East, and then just produced one of their most impressive victories of the season, a come-from-behind victory against their Toronto Blue Jays. Me and Luke Arcaini are going to break down exactly what is going right for this Phillies team, what might have changed, and why that series is so significant. Now, before I dive fully into it, I do want to remind you guys to make sure you continue smashing that subscribe button. That at this point in time, 84.2% of you guys have not subscribed to the channel just yet. We're closing in on that 1,000 subscriber mark. We want to get as many people a part of the Phillies Digest family before this full playoff push goes down. Looks like there could be a long run ahead of us and want each and every one of you guys a part of it. So, Luke Arcaini, first impressions, I want to throw it to you. How big was that Braves series? What's your biggest takeaway, and what direction you want to take this?
Yeah, man, it was a freaking huge series. Being able to take 3 or 4 against a team who obviously isn't really at their best this year, I would say, compared to previous years. But I think we all know whenever the Phillies and Braves square off at this point, it's always just pure cinema.
Yep.
Like it feels like every time, like there's something going on, somebody's staring somebody down. It's every time it feels like something different's going on. So for them to be able to take 3 or 4, that was really huge. I mean, especially the way that Sunday night game went, obviously with the walk off, Nick Castellanos in extra innings. Just 3 really good wins this weekend, and then arguably one of their best wins of the season tonight against Toronto. Down 6-1 after Tyler Phillips got rocked. Didn't make it out of the first inning. Started off with a leadoff Schwarber bomb. Thought everything was going to be great, and then Phillips got lit up. Didn't make it through. Had to watch Taijuan Walker pitch 3 innings in relief. Who honestly didn't do terrible. He allowed the home run to Vladdy, but like Vladdy's just on another planet this year. So like, I mean, you can't really get too mad at him, to be completely honest.
One of his better performances of late, for sure.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's the first game that they've won in a Taijuan Walker appearance since May 22nd. So, but I mean, the big story, obviously, Kyle Schwarber, 3 home runs. For a guy who's really been struggling, I'd say probably the last month, feels like he's been a lot of strikeouts, a lot of pop-ups. Just to freaking put the team on your back like that, it's just absurd on a night where, and I said they're going to win this game, but on a night where they're easily could have just rolled over. Like, you go all the way up to Toronto for a 2-game set. That's such an easy rollover series where you go up there, you lose both, or you basically hope for a split. But to get that win after going down like that is just freaking massive.
Yeah. 100% there, and I do have the stat pulled up that the Phillies just went 7-1 against the Royals, Astros, in Braves in the games that Taijuan Walker did not pitch there, but it was massive, as you mentioned, with kind of the scores here, that there was the 5-4 victory. They did lose the 7-2 game, that of course being the Taijuan Walker matchup, the 3-0 victory, and the 3-2 on the walk-off there. If you take a look at the standings overall, a pretty good gap that has not adjusted since tonight's games go into effect, but 6.5 game lead going into this at this point. I know the NL East is not where the greater eyes are, that obviously this Phillies team has higher aspirations than just winning the division there, but a great sign to kind of build up that kind of, I guess, gap there in the division, and of course the National League as a whole. What's your outlook for the rest of the season for this Phillies team? Obviously still a race to be had. How important, I guess, is the seeding in your mind? Because I know going into that Braves series that it looked like we could be seeing this rivalry on full display once again in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, getting that's obviously winning the division's huge. I think even with the kind of doubts in the past of do you want to win your division? Do you want to get the top 2 seeds?
Momentum.
Do you want that bye? Because there has been a pretty valid argument for teams not necessarily liking the bye week. But I mean, listen, man, if you can play less games to win a championship, that's your goal, right?
Yeah.
You would rather play the least amount of games as possible to get there. So right now they sit 1 game back of the Dodgers for the top spot. If the season ended today, they would start off with a bye. Yeah, I mean, they just continue to keep piling on wins. They look really good. As far as the NL East, I don't want to sit here and say it's over because I've seen us make a crazy comeback on the Mets
Sure.
years ago with just a few weeks left, so I can never really say it's over. I think maybe come back to me next week, and I can probably say it's over. I would say get me through this weekend. Get me through this week. Get me through this weekend. If they win 4 or 5 games this week, then I think I'll be able to say it's over. But there's still really about 20 something games left. So I mean, there's always a chance, right? It's baseball. There's always a chance for a hot streak. But I mean, I'm not gonna say it's over, but it's just about there.
Yeah.
I think I'll be ready to say it probably in about 3 or 4 days. They've done just about everything. I believe they're on pace to win like 93, 94 games now. So just it's going to turn out to be a really good regular season, even after about a month and a half of some pretty bad baseball.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're going to get one of these two top seeds. I will say this. They do have to keep the foot on the gas. The Milwaukee Brewers are really good. They've won 7 of their last 10. They're 41-25 at home. They have 139 run differential. They actually have the highest run differential in all of baseball.
Wow.
For a team going into this year that I didn't really know how that offense was going to be, they've scored a lot of runs this year. So that Brewers team is pretty legit. So I think the Phillies definitely need to keep at least the foot on the gas if they do want to get that first round bye.
Yeah, 100% there. I know this has been a pretty positive video in tone overall. Do want to put a little bit of concern on the table that the last time I got on this mic recording for Phillies Digest here, I did not like what Bryce Harper had to say about his elbow there. And then we're coming off a night where Nick Castellanos had to leave after getting hit by a pitch, where Bryce Harper surely looked a bit shaken up, or at least like the swing looking awkwardness there. It does feel like there's some injuries starting to stack up with this Phillies team. Austin Hayes missing the game due to illness tonight. I guess Harper is my main concern, as you do not see the power really being where it's supposed to be for him. That I do think that this is going to be an issue that lingers on, and he's clearly content on just thugging right through it and sticking things out and playing. What's your level of concern with the way that injuries are stacking up with this team, and particularly with Bryce Harper?
Yeah, I'm not loving the Harper stuff.
Yeah,
We saw it again tonight after that last at bat. He was kind of wincing there a little bit. I would be shocked if he played tomorrow. I
shouldn't.
I think you got to give this guy at least a day off. It's pretty obvious that he's in some pretty good pain right now. This is something you can't risk.
Yeah,
Like you can't have this type of regular season and push this guy all the way through September and then get to October and he's not healthy.
yeah,
You don't have a chance to win in the playoffs if Bryce Harper's not in the lineup. It's just really how this team is built. So they really need to prioritize getting him right over the next, I would say, 2 weeks. And if that comes with him only playing 3 times a week, then so be it. Listen, like I said, I'm not calling the race over tonight, but it's just about there, barring some crazy collapse. The Phillies definitely have a few games to work with too, as far as the NL East division, and they've gotten some pretty good production now from Cody Clemens
yeah.
and then Mundo Sosa,
Weston Wilson.
some Weston Wilson. Yeah, definitely. They have guys that can play first base. They can move Boom over to first base once he comes back. They have some options for the next few days here. But yeah, I would really like a nice off day tomorrow for Bryce and even maybe an off few days. There's really just, you can't risk this thing right now.
Yeah, and I've kind of approached this from the same mindset. I've talked a lot about this. Shout out to everyone that has checked out Sixers Digest as well. But with Joel Embiid, that I think it's on the organization to step up and make that decision for the player. That Bryce Harper is a gamer. He's going to want to stick it out. He's been very vocal and open about that. You have to at some point put your foot down and say, we got to do what's best for us as an organization. While I appreciate this, Bryce, there's a bigger picture that we just got to be looking at. So I would like to see the Phillies step in and force that to be the case. Take the ball out of the guy's hand. I appreciate you wanting to go out there, but there's simply the risk reward here just does not align in my mind. So for me, I throw that back on the Phillies to go out there and make that decision. On Rob Thomson, the decision makers for sure.
Yeah, and it's basically like you said, it's got to get to a point where the foot goes down.
Yeah.
Even tonight, I don't think he should have went back into that game tonight.
No.
Once that happened, he should have been on the bench. He shouldn't play tomorrow. If Rob Thompson goes to him and says you're not playing and he starts whining, so be it. But dude, like if this guy's all this guy talks about is all he wants to do is win a championship. He's got to be healthy to do that.
Yeah.
So if he's not healthy to do that, then they're not going to win. So give the guy a few days off, get some rest, get the whatever it is. I can't even tell at this point. Is it the wrist? Is it the elbow? Is it both? Just get him right. Get him right. Even if that would be missing the next, 3, 4 games.
Right.
I think the Phillies can kind of float above water there without him for a few games. That if that's what it would take to sort of get him, not 100%, because I don't think he's going to be really 100% probably without surgery, which I would feel is probably coming in the offseason. Jeez, sorry. I don't really think anything crazy, not some crazy surgery, but it definitely does seem like this offseason, it'll be one of those things where right when the season's done, he'll probably get some little sort of minor procedure. But obviously that can't happen now.
Yeah.
So whatever can really get him right for October over these next few weeks, then it definitely needs to be what the Phillies do.
For sure. And that's now a number of elbow, just ligament issues that he's kind of been dealing with. He's mentioned this is not the same as the Tommy John thing already, which is good news
Yeah.
there. But the bottom line is there is an issue that needs to be addressed, and the Phillies should step up and do that. But until we know more about that, we're not going to panic on Bryce Harper just yet. We're going to celebrate that this massive victories over the Braves, the strong start, the come from behind victory today. And just one more time before we sign up, I want to remind you guys to keep smashing that subscribe button. Just 15.8% of you guys have so far. Let's get us to 1,000 before the Phillies officially qualify for these playoffs here. So make sure you're smashing that subscribe button, dropping a like, your thoughts below, and me and Luke will be talking with you next time. Peace.